Hello everyone, today we are going to be working on this group of 3 large trees. These are very old trees and getting very tall. There's a lot of dieback and pruning it right back and also tidying up the dead branches, and thereafter we will be reducing the height of the trees. And we may not go down to the point where we've marked where the cuts should be. So stay tuned. Hey, it's me, Iqbal Khan. If you have not yet subscribed to Mick Bonsai, then click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to subscribe and receive notifications as I upload new videos. These are the old ones which are being removed. There are quite a lot of them, and they all have to be removed before we can proceed further. There are 2 common larch species, Larch larix decidua, which is the European larch, and Larch camphiri, the Japanese larch. Both these species are very popular for making bonsai trees, as the trees develop quickly and trunks grow thicker, faster than a lot of the other species. And the trees that we are working on are the Larch larix, the European larch. We have cleaned up the trees, firstly removed the pine cones from last year, also removed a lot of dead wood and done a little bit of pruning, and I'll give it a quick turn so you can see the trees are much lighter and a lot more space in between branches, and that's the biggest tree and also happens to be the weakest of the trees. So we'll have to try and sort things out so that this one starts to make a recovery, and that is where we started. So we're going to start with pruning these long new branches. This is growth from last year, and we'll be pruning this back, and after that we will start reducing the height of the tree. This is the growth from last year, and I'm going to prune it right back to here, leaving just about 3 nodes, and remove it to there. And I'm going to repeat the same thing with this one here. And moving up, again, as you can see, very long branch, and then just develop further branches, tertiary branches, but we're going to go right back. And again, up here, we'll go right in, and moving up to here, same process, cutting them right back in as short as possible, and also removing these dead branches and leaving about 3 nodes there, and coming to this side here, same process, leave about 4, this one here, again prune them right in, and they cope very well with regular pruning, and also when repotting in spring they benefit from a very thorough prune, which we are doing now before the growing season kicks in. And with a very thorough prune at the time of repotting coupled with the growing season, they respond extremely well to this sort of pruning. And up here, this is quite tall. Although we're going to reduce the top, but I still want to shape the tree before we start the surgery to reduce the tree, the height of each of these trees. I've switched sides and I'm now on the other side of the trees. So continue with the pruning. Right, so that part is done, and there's a few bits up here which I'm going to shorten. This is going straight up, so I'm going to completely remove that. And again, cut these right back. We've cleaned up the trees as much as we can, and so I'm now going to start with the top and gradually start the reduction process, removing a little bit of the top at a time. And so that's how we're going to do it. And so that one there. And now I'm going to remove this part here. It is quite tough, so I've removed that part and we'll continue shortly. So I'm now going to remove the this crown, the present crown. There we are, that's gone. So I'm now going to remove this side here and give it a little turn, and then this branch here. So this is where our marker is, and for this tree we are going to, this is the biggest of the three trees and the weakest of the three trees. So we are going to go down to where our marker was. So I'm going to chip away at the top until we get to the desired sort of height. We could use the saw, but this will be quicker. Right, I'm nearly to the bottom of where I want the final cut to be. So I'm going to carry on with this branch cutter. It's doing one hell of a job. Right, I think that's done. What we are going to do is wire some of these branches up and to form a new crown with. So we've got about these 3 or 4 branches which we are going to wire up to start forming a new crown. We are now on our second tree, and this is where the marker was. So we are going to go straight to the marker point and move the apex to there. That's off. And this one we will try and wire it and bring it over as much as we can, so that this now takes over and is not as strong as the previous one. Also, we'll have to cut some of these branches back, but we'll come back to that. And we now move over to the third of the trees, which is the strongest of the 3 trees, which is this one. And we are going to go straight to the point where we've marked it down for reduction. I'll try and do that with the branch cutter and see if I succeed. So that part's off, and we'll also bring this down a bit to about there. And continue working around it. So I'm now going to remove this part here, and let's see if I can do it in one. Otherwise I may have to do it in bits. No, we'll do it in bits. noise in the background is football. We have Brentford Football Ground, not very far from the house. It's about a mile away, but you can still hear the noise of the fans. Right, so this is the 3 large trees after we have done the trunk chops. And I'll give it a quick turn so you can see what they look like. And we're also going to carry out branch reduction. The branches are too long, and they need to be brought in from top down, which I will start now. We have wired this branch and basically repositioned it so that it's going up, and also the branch behind it we have wired it up and sort of repositioned it. Now this branch here needs to be shortened. I'm going to take it right back to there, and the apex is well on its way for this tree, and I will continue and do some branch reduction. I believe they are too sort of long, and we will take them back to about there. And I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of the tree. And this branch again, I'm going to reduce it to about there, and we'll come back and see if it needs a further reduction. And there, to try and sort of bring it back into scale and proportion. And once we have done this, then we will go to the other section. I'm going to go a little bit further in with this one. These branches here again I'm going to thin and then shorten. And also there are some dead branches here which I'm going to remove. Again, that will lighten up the tree, and the sun can get through, more light and air can get through, and which is generally good for the tree. This side looks okay. This side is too heavy, so we're now going to work on this side and reduce these branches. And I'm going to firstly remove this branch, which appears to be dead, covered in moss. We've tidied that up, but still plenty of moss left. And this one will take it to about there. And then we will reduce this to about there. I usually stand back and take a look at the overall look of the tree. That banging noise is from a neighbor. He's been at it on and off all morning. It's an absolute pain. And but I have to live with it. What can I do? That's a dead branch with a little stub. And we can't use it. So a few more dead branches here. And the neater it is, the better it is. The lines are more smoother, and the overall look of the tree is much better. Right, so moving down to these branches again, we'll reduce them back to about there, and then have another look. Right, so that appears to be okay. This one will reduce the height and also reduce the dead branches. These are secondary branches which are dead, so I'm going to remove them completely. I'm not even going to bother ginning them. Secondary branches don't look good as gins, so it's they are coming off. Yes, it's this one. More dead branches here, another one here, and this one here. here quite a few dead buds. Right, so I'm going to step back now and take another look at this tree, and I think this section needs further reduction, so we'll sort this out before I step back. This looks dead, so I'm going to take it right back. Again, there's more dead branches which I'm removing, and it makes the tree look neat and tidy. And also on the trunk there are loads of dead branches, a lot of small ones or stubs which are left over. So those I'm going to clean up. And so now I'm going to again look at this branch. It's growing inwards, and I'm going to remove it completely to about there. There it is, that's done. So basically what that has done is opened up the inside of the trees. Lot more area and lot more room for the light to get through and for branches to get light. And now I'm going to clean up the dead branches that I can see from here. I'm going to remove that, that's a dead branch. And same thing with this here, that's dead. I'm going to remove that. And this I'm going to shorten it to about there. And that is it for now. I'm going to stand back and take another look at the overall design of the style of the trees. And we'll catch up shortly. Okay folks, I've wired this side branch to create a new apex, and I'm going to prune it back to... We are filming. Can we start again, Wojciech? Can you just be quiet? We have finished wiring the side branch for this second tree, and the side branch has now been moved up into a new position to create an apex. And I'm going to reduce the top again a bit further by removing that, and we'll do the same with this one here. And this branch now is far too long, so I'm going to reduce it to about there. There we are, that's done. And that is the new apex, and I think it should do fine. Having created the new apex and pruned the top and the side branch, looking at the rest of the tree, this part here appears to be a bit top heavy. There's not much growth at the lower part of the tree. There are new branches coming through here. The new branches coming up all over the place. There's back budding, but the top branches here are very top heavy, and I am going to prune these right back. And but we'll do it in stages. I'm not going to butcher them, but just take them back very, very gently, and before deciding to do any further pruning. And so I will now work on this one here, and just turn it slightly, and again reduce it to there, and reduce this one to about there. And I'll have a little look at the tree, stand back a little and have a look and see if the branches are in proportion to the rest of the tree and the branches lower down the tree. This is day 2, and we finished working on these trees late yesterday evening, and this is where the chops were, and there's one chop here and one chop here to reduce the height of this tree, and then this branch was horizontal going in this direction, and I have wired it, and created a bit of an apex, so you can see the wire there. And then this branch was also facing in a totally different direction, and we've basically moved the whole thing up and then carried it round onto this branch and then taken it to the back. So this will build the new apex for this tree. This is the second tree in the middle, and we did a trunk chop here, and then this branch was facing in that direction horizontally, and so we've wired it, and we've, from being horizontal like that, we've raised it up, and so this is going to form a new apex. There's also a bit of new growth here which I'm going to let it grow, and I'm also going to let this branch here grow, and so we will have a new apex fairly shortly. You can grow these trees from seed or semi-hard new growth cuttings. You can propagate those, and they will do very well. The third trunk we chopped here, right at the top where the top of the chopstick is, and here in the middle, up here. And then what we have done is wired a number of branches. This branch again was going sideways where the chopstick is, so we wired it and moved it up, and this little branch here was also going sideways and has been wired to reposition upwards, and likewise this little branch was coming straight towards the camera, and that's been wired and moved up. And also there's a branch at the back over here, so it's about 4 branches which have been moved up to create more of an apex up here. Trunk chops are easy to do, but to grow an apex is very, very difficult. And for these 3 trees, I'm not sure whether it was luck or judgment, but anyway, we had enough there to create an apex. I think we were lucky that the branches were there, and I was able to wire them and move them into position. And this is all the 3 trees together, and I'll give it a quick turn. This is the strongest of the 3 trees, and I've pruned it as much as I could to try and bring some sort of balance. And this is the next strongest, and this is the oldest and the weakest of the 3 trees. There were a lot of dead branches, and as you can see, I have made gins out of the lot of dead branches, and there's another one there, another one up there, and so that's the 3 trees, and I will again continue giving it a turn, and another gin up here, another one here. These will be sort of further worked on and refined, and I will also be applying lime sulfur to them to give them that more whitish appearance. The heights have been reduced quite considerably, and the whole sort of structure of the 3 trees is much lighter. A lot more light will be able to get through. During the process of thinning the branches and removing the dead branches, a lot of branches have been removed, and you can see probably the cut paste applied there. There's loads of places cut paste has been applied, and also a lot of shortening of the branches has been done, and the branches have been pulled in to make it all very tight. And usually the tallest tree is in the front, so that's basically where the front will be. I will be repotting these trees. We were meant to do it in the same video, but we underestimated the amount of work necessary. The actual work far exceeded our expectations, and it is day 2 now, so the repotting will be left for another day and will be covered in part 2. That's all for now. This is Iqbal Khan for Mick Bonsai in West London. Until the next time. And now for the afterthought. My dad said, always leave them wanting more. Ironically, that's how he lost his job in disaster relief. You dig?